Salut coders, this is Bisky here. Welcome back to another tutorial. Warm greetings to those who are joining us for the first time. If you are new to this channel, may you kindly subscribe, click the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload new videos. Most of you are watching these videos and not subscribed. May you kindly subscribe, visit our Code with Bisky where you get the latest video tutorials each and every week. So in this tutorial, we are creating a application, Spring application, where we can ask a question to OpenAI using Spring AI module. This is a new module in town and everyone is talking about it. So for this example, I can put a question here, tell me more about AI. Then we create a question and let's wait for a response. This is the response that we are getting. So we can ask also a different question, or like so by end of this tutorial, you'll be able to create this project, a Spring project, where we can ask a question, integrate with ChatGPT AI model, and use this API, and you'll be able to configure and creating also embeddings of your application. In this tutorial, we are going to create a demo project of Spring AI. We are start from scratch and starting to add the dependencies that we need to run a Spring AI project. We are going to cover a lot like the embedding and the chat models. We are going to use OpenAI, and I will show you how to create a token for AI to configure that token in our project. So let's get started. So here in our getting started page, you can see there's you can use a Spring client where we can add an AI to existing project, but for us we want to create it from scratch. So let's visit startspring.io website, and here I want to let's use this stable version 3.2.4 by the day of making this video, and I use Maven. Here I will say my group will be Code with Bisky, and for artifact I'll just say demo AI, and here I'll just say AI. For Spring Boot AI, this is the and I'm using Java 17, or I can use 21, it's fine, and I can add dependency. And this dependency is I want to use web in future. I think we are going to use web, and I want also to use Lombok. Maybe we need to map our data. That's okay, and I can generate this. So after generating this, it has been downloaded into our directory. So let's open the project. Go to your downloads and unzip and open the project. So this is our demo project. So we need to set up the dependencies for OpenAI we need to set up dependencies for Spring AI. So we go to our POM file and we can go to our documentation. Here we can close this thing and go to get started. The first thing that they are talking is to add these repositories. So let's add these repositories. In here I just put them below here, and I can come back again to the documentation. For Maven, you can, if you chose a Gradle, you can do this. And we need to add this dependence management, and I can copy the dependence management and I can come here. I usually prefer to put it just above dependencies. Right. After doing this, let's try to sync. Yeah, our project is synced successfully. So we are okay. This is how we can add this AI dependencies, and make sure you are using Spring, the latest Spring 3.2. So the next thing that we can do, we can start with the embeddings. Let's open the embeddings, but before I spoke about embeddings. Embeddings, let's say we have your text that in your application, we want to convert it to embeddings, like those arrays, those vectors. So this is we can use the embedding API for OpenAI, for Azure, for Olama, to do that, to transform any word to embeddings. So let's see by an example. So the first thing, let's open the Spring AI, OpenAI embeddings, right? So we need to add this configuration, a Spring AI key. So we need to generate this key. So what you need to do is to go to visit platform openai.com. You can visit this website. After visiting this website, you can select the API keys. So if you don't have an account, you can create an account. Then you create new secret key. In this one, I will say demo AI Spring Boot, a default project, and I can create this key. Make sure you copy this key and save it somewhere. So I will copy the key, and you only see it once. So after copying the key, I need to configure it into my project. So let me go to resources. Here I prefer to use this one. It's .properties. I prefer the YAML. So let me just refactor and change here to YAML. So when it is YAML, we just do this, and we can configure. So for AI, so far I have this key in my clipboard. Let me just put here, and let's add the configuration that I told you. Here it's going to be let me just comment for now. Let me just comment this. Don't worry about this thing, we can configure it later. So after doing this, let's come to our embeddings. This is the way of adding we need to add this OpenAI. We can use the Spring Boot starter dependency for OpenAI. So just copy this dependency and we can download it. So let's go to our POM XML and we can go to the dependencies. In our dependencies, let's paste this. The version is coming from this one. No, that's why we are putting a version dependence management. So if you see here, it is downloaded. So after downloading, we are not having any error. We need now to say Spring here. It's now there. I can say open this one. I can put this one. And the key is the one that we copied here. And we can paste our key. This is how you configure this key, right? If I try to run, let's try to run the project and see if everything is okay. Let's just enable Lombok annotation. You can see it's okay here. And if I remove this configuration, let me remove this and try to run. It will say the OpenAI key, we are going to have an error. You can see. So it means our dependencies are working fine. OpenAI key must be set. So here, if I do this, it means we set our OpenAI key. So we are ready to use the OpenAI functionalities in our project. So what's next now? I want to create a new package called services, AI services, or I just say OpenAI package service, and I will create a new Java class. I will say OpenAI services implementation. I will put the interface later. So far I don't know what I'm going to do. So here I'll put it service, and I put it required, I think this one, it required Axe constructor. And also I can put also SL for logging Lombok. I want to use this one for Lombok. Then let's see one of our example. So we are in embeddings. We want to use this embedding client for OpenAI to convert our text into vectors or into arrays. And these arrays are the ones that we save into the database, are used for similar search, for everything, how the AI works. So this is the getting started page. So here we have this one called embedding response. and we can copy this logic. I will just say public. I'll just say I'll call it this string embedding example. Then I'll paste this and I'll do this. So here you can see we need an embedding client. We need an embedding client. This is from, we can use this one, which is from OpenAI. It's okay. Let's use this one for Spring. So what we need here, we need to the embedding client. So let's make this private. Final. I can say open. I will say open AI. I think it's called embedding client, this one. And I'll just say embedding client. You can see here we have it's auto wired. This one exists. So I can just do this and I can replace it here. So if we go this, we auto wired this thing, and our AI we're able to embed this text. So we are expecting to get results here. So what is in our response? Here is supposed to be a list of vectors. We have this list of embeddings, and in our embeddings we have this list. So what we can do, this one is not a response here. Here we can say a list of double. So this is the details that we want. Here it's supposed to be a capital letter D, like this. Then we can do this now. We can get these results. We can do this dot var stream, or you can use the for each embedding. We can get now the values. We get this output and we just say dot var. This is the double, and here we can say a list. We can do this. We can create embeddings. We can create this when we say embeddings. And we can just say an array list here. And we can add this output dot add output. We can just say add all. We can add all here, and here we can return this. So let's just print this log info. I'll just say embeddings. And we want to print these embeddings, all of them. And these embeddings are for this. And this one will be converted to the embeddings. And these embeddings can be served into our database. So what we need to do here, so far we need to run this. So before we run this, let's go to the demo application. I want to implement command line runner. So far I didn't add any REST API command line runner, so I just want this to test. I want to test this when the application runs. And here I will just say private final OpenAI service implementation, this one. Just say it required Axe constructor. Then here we just say dot embed example, and we'll see our result. So let's run our application and see the output. So here we have an exception. Let's see the error. It's a model issue that you are facing here. It's because we just copied the model. We just copied a model here on our example. So what we need to do, we see this is the embedding model that we can use. Let's copy this embedding model. And let's go to our implementation and we can change our embedding model. And let's try to run our application. As you can see, this is the vector, this is the embedding that we have from this text. And by using these vectors, we can now easily search data from this embedding. So this is how it works, and this is how to generate this embedding. So with these embeddings, that's what we need on your AI application to save this embedding and try to fetch this data from your database. So what next do you need to know more? We need now to go to the here I just showed you an example of using OpenAI. For this, we are just using OpenAI model. We are going to add the models later in our future videos. So what you can do here, we are done. We are done. This is what you need to know to create the embeddings. So we are done with the embeddings. So if you are done with the embeddings, let's just go to the chat model, this one, and we want to create this chat model. And we want to use this OpenAI. So we just ask a question to a OpenAI and we get a response. So what we can go to OpenAI. We already added this dependence for OpenAI, so we are okay. So we need to see the implementation of doing this. The implementation is just using the chat client. So it's going to be OpenAI chat client, and we can ask a question and we can get a response. So let's go to this, and this is our code. Let's copy our code. This one was for embedding example, and you can get the data. So here I will just create another one, which is public string result, chat result. And here I'll just say string. It's going to be the question that we want to ask to our OpenAI. And we can paste this. And let's import the prompt. I already explained to you about this prompt here. It's a float here. Convert this, put an F. So in our prompt, here we need this one is chat client, so it's going to be OpenAI chat client. Remember, OpenAI chat client, and here just say client. You can see the injection is working fine, and we are able to use this. So the model, based on our key, I didn't subscribe for ChatGPT. For mine, I think it's 3.5. Yeah, I think it's 3.5. 3.5 here, turbo. So we ask a question, and here on our response, we just say we want to return the result, and we can get result, get output, and we can get the content. So let's go to where we are calling this one, and here it's going to return a string. We just say what are the key features of Java. It's just a question, and we want to get a result. We will return this, and we just say and it will list all the key features. So I can comment this. So before I test this, I need to confirm this version of our model. So here in our content, we just replace this with the question that we are passing here. So let's go to our, let me check the version of this. Yeah, the version is correct here. Here it's supposed to be 3.5. I'm not supposed to put a dash. And let's test our logic if we are going to get a response from here. So as you can see, after I ask the question, this is the response that we get from our ChatGPT. And Java is object-oriented, platform-independent, simple and easy to learn. So this is how you can ask a question to your application. Ask a question to your ChatGPT using these models, and it's easy with the Spring AI. If it was difficult, if you are using other frameworks out there, but you can see how this was created, how to integrate with OpenAI, it's much easier. So what we need to do next, I want to just create a REST controller, new package. I just say API, and I'll create new Java class. This one I can say OpenAI API, and it's going to be a REST controller. It's request mapping. And I need to copy this class. Private final. Let's import this. And its constructor dependent injections. Since I'm using Lombok, I will just say add required acts constructor. And here I'll just say ask a question, chat. Here I'll just return a string, public string chat, and here I'll pass a question either as a request parameter. I'll just say add request param string question, and just say return OpenAI service dot chat, and I put my question here. And here I'll just say open AI. I can say chat, or I can just say ask question. We want to ask a question, or I can do it as a put mapping. Let me do it as a post mapping. I can ask a question to this, and it's going to be an OpenAI. And the other thing that I want to do is to change the context here. I just say, if you just say context, I will just say my context will be Spring AI. And the other thing that I would love to do is to change the port. Usually save a port. I prefer to change a port to a different port, maybe 6767. This is the number that came into my mind, a random number for my application. So after doing this, I can run and test this. Here in my application here, I want to remove, let me go to my application. I'm no longer need to code this here. I want to call it on my API, and I can run this, and I can open Postman. And it's going to be a post mapping. Here it's going to be localhost at port 6 and 6 7. Context path is Spring AI. OpenAI, this one, because we are going to use other models, so I want to differentiate by model. Spring AI and question, and I'll just say question, just say what are the key features of Java. This is the question, and I can send a request. So let's wait for a response. So the AI is doing its calculations. You can see we get the response. We ask the question, and these are the key features that we get. You can ask any different question here. Tell me more about AI. It's another question that you can ask to our application. You can see we are now getting this response from our AI model, which is OpenAI model ChatGPT. So if you are new to this channel, may you kindly subscribe, click the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload new videos. Salut coders.